when you're buying luxury, you're looking for a head nod. You're looking for a type of acknowledgement. And I think that that's something that capitalism has made us feel we need.
Yes.
We need to wear our values. But like you said, at the end of the day, if your values is just a $2,000 price tag, that means nothing. When you wear FATRA, you're wearing your values, which is saying, I care about environment, I care about local businesses, I care about Black businesses, I care about intentional design.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Susty Soul podcast. I'm so excited to be talking to my guest today, who is Akilah Stewart, and she is the founder and creative director of FATRA. FATRA is a luxury handbag brand utilizing recycled materials and recycled plastic bottles for their products. So welcome to the show, Akilah.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me and finding interest in my work.
Yeah, absolutely. For those of you who don't know, I reached out to Akilah back last year about the podcast, and I finally had to get my stuff together to finally have her on the show. So I'm really, really grateful to have you here, Akilah. So yeah, go ahead. It's all about you right now. So just give everybody a brief introduction of yourself, your background, and FATRA.
All right. Well, my name is Stewart. I am, as she said, the founder of FATRA, and I am from New York originally, first generation American to two Caribbean parents. My father is from Haiti, and my mother is from Guyana. So I think that that's actually a very big part of the sustainable growing up, because I feel that I've always had that. I've always been growing up in a sustainable way, or, that crunchy granola, which we know now. But at the time, it was just kind of something that was normal to me. And I think it has a lot to do with the culture and the heritage of those two beautiful places. Mm-hmm. I started FATRA about 2 years ago. I mean, this August actually is going to be 3 years. Wow.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, going to celebrate a birthday really soon. I'm not quite sure what that's going to be finalized, but expect something amazing. Definitely stay tuned. Okay. But FATRA began in Honolulu, Hawaii. I was living in Honolulu for about 5 years, something like that. And it's just a very different scene coming from New York, going from the concrete jungle to actual jungle. Mm-hmm. Right. And I think when you're up close and personal with nature, like I was in Honolulu, you look out your backyard, there's no billboards in Hawaii. It's illegal. So you actually get to see how beautiful everything is. And I think it's a very smart thing to do, because it lets you take in the landscape without all these ugly, Band-Aids and stickers posted everywhere.
Right.
But with that, you definitely have a new appreciation for nature, a new appreciation for, it kind of strips you down to the bare bones, and it makes you appreciate, the oceans and the land and the mountains and the hills, and, just sacred knowledge in general. And I think when you always have something, or you're always surrounded by it, you never really take a minute out to really appreciate those things. Mm-hmm. And so I think that was the head for me. I always knew environment was important. I always had that feeling. I always had this connection to land, connection that we are all together and connected. But going to Hawaii definitely aroused something different inside of me, a different type of appreciation. And with that, you also see a lot of the degradation, right? Like the Pacific Gyre, this large garbage patch that's floating in the middle of the ocean is very near to Hawaii. And you can actually, at different parts of the island, you can see trash coming from China, trash coming from California, because it's kind of right in the middle, and it's just trash that's coming from each way. And the current the ocean currents kind of shift them towards Honolulu or Oahu.
Right.
So with that, I was home collecting all these damn bottles because I'm from New York and we recycle. And in Hawaii, what? There's no recycling, baby. So I literally had all these bottles. I'm like, no recycling. Well, what am I gonna do now? Like, I mean, I really tried so many things with these plastic bottles. If my partner was listening, he will tell you I've made him do many things with plastic to try and create something just to basically give these such hazardous items, such material that last forever, just another life.
Yeah.
So plastic, I would say plastic is definitely an issue. I'm not going to say it's not an issue. It's an issue because it's extractive to get the petroleum in order to make the material. But once the material is already made in here, it's a forever material. So I figured let's make something forever with it. At that time, I didn't know what it was. I was trying to make, tables and, oh God, I tried to make everything. And then I was like, oh, handbags, let's go back into fashion. I worked fashion for maybe starting 2009, 2010. My first company was a shoe company. I designed shoes, kind of still with a sustainable nucleus, just basically keep your shoes longer, just rebuild them if need be. And that was called Sweet and Salty Shoes and that. But then when I moved to Hawaii, I kind of changed because shoes is not really an important thing in Hawaii, as you can imagine.
Right.
Not it's definitely, you see people there climbing coconut trees barefooted, it's not really,
Yeah.
no one really cares if you have Louboutins on or not.
Right.
So yeah, just using creativity to take this forever material, this resource that is so extractive. So it's like it takes so much work to create this resource, and yet it's so easily thrown away. It's so easily discarded. And I think that we just need to understand and maybe be shown the process behind it that's going to actually allow us to have a better understanding of where it's coming from, that maybe we don't treat it just as, as so disposable. But so that's kind of how FATRA started. It's just really all these pieces of my life started coming together. The fashion background, the already sustainable growing up, the whole country granola, and then just creativity in general. Just, yeah, I understand the zero waste movement and not utilizing plastic, but the reality is that a lot of places and people are going to still use plastic. So it's kind of more so, what can we do with what's left? Yes, if we could cease production today, that would be amazing. And if we cease production today, we still would be dealing with tons and tons of plastic.
So
yeah.
So
Oh,
go ahead. Sorry.
that's kind of what happened. And so I just started designing. I figured a staple fashion piece is something that you can keep for a very long time. You can always pass down. I have handbags that have been passed down to me from my family members. My beautiful, fashionable aunt, she's always had me really hip into the fashion world. My grandmother owned a boutique. My other grandmother was just bougie. So,
I love it. But we all have aunties like that.
She's like, girl, what you got on? What's on?
Oh my gosh.
What's that? Oh. Very shady, very shady.
Right. That also leads me into the next question too, because and for those of you who are not familiar with FATRA, her bags are really, really beautiful. So it's such a good example of like how you can take waste and make it really, really beautiful. So that's one of the things that I love about FATRA. Another thing I wanted to also like add in a little bit is I was at an event at One Sunday at a Time, which is a small shop. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, in Brooklyn. And I was at a panel then, like most of the people there who were on the panel, you probably know, but there was a young lady in the audience and I saw her bag and I was just like, I asked her, I was like, is that a FATRA bag? And she was like, yeah. So it's wonderful that your bags have an identity. So I just wanted to put that out there. And it's just like, it's just really, really important because I think that within sustainable fashion, there tends to be this theme and a lot of like products, look fairly, minimalist and things like that. But I love that FATRA has an identity and I was able to pinpoint it right away. So just letting you know.
I love that story so much.
Yeah.
Because I think that is a huge thing as a designer, that you want to have your work speak for you. And I think because we're in it all the time designing, and we can have this idea like, oh, people are gonna know, but not all the time that's really true. I have some designs that I will never pull out because sometimes you just think too highly of yourself. So to hear that, my bags are actually being recognized, that's amazing. And that is something that I'm very excited about because I am very intentional about the designs. It's half textile, half leather. And I just made it half and half because the textile is the fun part. And it's also talking just about like the softness and how delicate environments and life in general of all sorts are, human life, plant life, animal life, the life of our oceans and our rainforests and jungles. And we all need it. So the textile is really to represent the softness, and the leather is to represent kind of the longevity. It's soft. It could be very beautiful. Flowers are very beautiful, but if you look how my eggplants are growing and cucumbers are growing, these heavy vegetables and fruits are hanging on to this plant. It's durable. Like the earth is going nowhere, and people are like, oh, we're gonna destroy the earth, blah blah. No, we are gonna be destroyed. The earth is going to heal. And that's kind of what the leather represents. The leather is the longevity, the durability, and she still makes it look good. Mother Nature, she goes through all the shit, and she still provides for us every day. The sun still comes up and shines for us every day. If you want to talk about, real love or unconditional love, that is what I consider unconditional love. We fight amongst ourselves as people. We fight with the environment. We carve fucking statues into the mountains. We blow it up for oil. We dig deep. We do all these things. And she's still like, you know what? It's okay. I might throw a little, tornado something y'all way, but I'ma still shine for y'all.
Right.
So I definitely, the textile and the leather is just the representation of the softness, but yet the hardness, the strength. And I feel like even as a Black woman, it's very telling as well. I feel like it's the same, we're maybe looked at as very hard or very, always the strong Black woman. However, we are also very soft and very nurturing, and you don't necessarily just have to be one. So the textile, the leather, and then every bag has a pyramid stitch on there, and the pyramid stitch is just, they say whatever lies underneath a pyramid has regenerative properties. So I feel like we as women, we put some of our most prized possessions inside of our purses, our money, our phones, our tech, our birth control, our mental meds, whatever it is. And I just want I want that to regenerate. I want our money to come back to us tenfold. I want, our health and our wellness to come back to us tenfold. So on every bag, there is a pyramid stitch, and that's why.
Oh, okay. I never knew that. So that's good to know. So in terms of the fashion industry as a whole, obviously it's like the second, I think is it now the first or the second, but it's like the second dirtiest industry in the world. And it's just like, it's just the worst. So I would to know, like through education, like how do you want FATRA to like really make an impact on the fashion industry in terms of waste and reutilizing waste?
I mean, I think it's a smart investment for any industry. And I just want to say, yes, the fashion industry is what the second dirtiest, only because it compiles several industries.
Mm-hmm.
So when we talk about fashion, the fashion industry, we're never really just talking about clothing. We're talking about the production process, which means hiring and labor. We're talking about transporting from halfway across the world, transporting your raw resources. We're talking about growing your raw resource. So, it touches a little bit of the ag industry. It touches a little bit on the oil industry. It touches on many industries within fashion, and which is why I feel like it's a great place to start as a driver to making change as far as utilizing waste, because it just encompasses so much. And I think that if we can make changes, major changes in a very old industry such as fashion that hasn't had many changes, like tech. I mean, there's so many things that have changed drastically.
Mm-hmm.
Medicine, tech, and fashion is still just doing things the very old way.
Yeah.
And I understand that, there's definitely there's beauty in tradition, but there's also beauty and taking what that works
Mm-hmm.
and combining that with something new to create something better. So I'm definitely a large advocate for the death and the dying and the rebuilding, the death and the dying and the rebuilding.
Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. So when it comes to like our relationships to things, because I know the fashion industry particularly has, or just consumerism in general, which is something that I've personally been looking very closely at, thinking of our relationship to things and like how we see things and how we value things. So I feel like sustainability is definitely already in our roots. So I'm wondering if you would agree with that. Because I know like from your story, like, I'm always reminded of that, and I feel like we already really know what to do with it. It's just we don't know how. So I love like your thoughts on that.
Yeah, no, I mean, of course, I definitely think sustainability is in our roots. What? Like, is that even a question?
Right.
Have you seen Avatar? You've seen Avatar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Avatar was about us, right?
Yes. Yeah. So I thought I was the only person that kind of like picked that up. I'm like, there's some parallels here. Like,
Girl, avatars ain't nothing but some African people, okay? Come on. Conjuring up. They was conjuring and utilizing the trees, and come on. And that is so I think to talk about sustainability, the main thing that I feel we're going a little left is that we have to define it accurately. And if we define it, as my sis Dominique Draper says,
mm-hmm.
as inherently black and brown,
Mm-hmm.
then we can build off that properly. But because sustainability is becoming whitewashed and greenwashed in many ways, companies are spending more money on just telling everyone on how sustainable they are versus actually using that money to become sustainable.
Yes.
But yeah, no, I definitely think we need to redefine the way that we think about sustainability in order to use it accurately.
Mm-hmm.
And I would definitely say that sustainability is inherently black and brown. I mean, I'm sure you've heard the Native Americans saying about
mm-hmm.
Taking care 7 generations down,
Right. Yeah.
that is some forward thinking, some forethought, and I love that.
Yeah.
I remember when, what's her name, Hillary Clinton was running, and I remember she was apologizing for all of this stuff, and she said, I just did not have the foresight.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember thinking at that time, like, that is so important. Like, I want a president who's going to have foresight. Like, I want someone to imagine what may happen in the future if this is done. I need someone with that type of mindset to be ruling this nation. But in general, we need to be having that type of mindset. We need to have that mindset when, like you say, talking about things. How long is this thing gonna last? Can I keep it for, how long can I keep it? What can I do with it afterwards? I think looking at waste and looking at our things with 2 lives or 3 lives or having 4 lives or, you know, many uses is something that we can implement if we really truly did love our things.
Right.
But I think a lot of times we're buying things not because we love them, because, you know, maybe shopping while sad,
Yeah.
shopping because there's hella reasons that we shop. But I think a lot of them we need to dig into a little deeper before we actually make those purchases.
Yes. So, actually, with that being said, I love how this is just flowing. You
Yes,
put
let's
on
go.
so on Instagram, you put it was like an IG post that you put up, and it was just you put something up that I really really loved, and you said, "FATRA bags are tangible activism. The recycled plastic bottle bag is the symbol of luxury fashion reimagined." So when we're thinking about like our relationship to things and like the reason why we buy things, you know, within like luxury fashion, like if you buy a Chanel bag or just something of, you know, high value, because it's like it goes far past the price for a lot of people, and it's just like, oh, like this bag, I'll pass this down and blah blah blah. So like when rethinking luxury, it's something that I've been thinking about a lot. Like what shifts do you think are needed to help more people reimagine luxury, more specifically within the ethical, sustainable luxury field and pricing, which is often on the higher end? Like, how do you think we're gonna like help people understand, like just to make that shift in terms of like their choices? Because I feel like it's something that a lot of people are still struggling with when it comes to really thinking about their purchases and what they think is valuable.
So let me ask you this.
Hmm.
What is luxury?
That's my thing. To me, luxury is really valuing something that makes you feel good, but also it's almost like spiritual to me. For me personally, I've just been like really focusing on things that bring me joy, but not like physical joy, just more like internal joy. It's something that I value, something that makes me feel elevated. And I know that that can probably also sound pretty like frou-frou and like really high level, but it's something that I'm still working on too, personally, because we spend so much money, at least I speak for myself, I don't speak for other people. We spend so much money on things and then it doesn't like feed us at all. It's like sometimes you have that guilt after you bought something. It's just like, was this really worth it? You know, so I think for me, it's still a work in progress. But I do think that luxury is something that I know I really, really need to change and focus on. So.
I think that so I'm gonna take this out a little, but
Yeah.
I think that this is something that we need to I asked you why or what luxury is
Mhm.
because and you mentioned, you know, something to make you happy or to feel elevated, but I think we need to also dive into what that is. Are
Yeah.
you happy because other people know you paid a lot of money for it? Are you happy because there's a story that relates to you behind the brand? Is there an aspiration? Do you aspire to be, you know, all of those things are really the things that we need to dive into when we're talking about luxury. And generally, I feel, and this is a very blanketed statement, so don't kill me, y'all, but I feel like people, when you're buying luxury, you're looking for a head nod, you know, you're looking
Mhm.
for a type of acknowledgement. And I think that that's something that capitalism has made us feel we need. We
Yes.
need to wear our values. But like you said, at the end of the day, if your values is just a $2,000 price tag, that means nothing. When you wear FATRA, you're wearing your values, which is saying, I care about environment, I care about local
Mhm.
businesses, I care about Black businesses, I care about intentional design.
Mhm.
So I think that's more so where I'm trying to share what luxury is. We have to get to the bottom of what is that feel good? What makes that dopamine release? And if it's just to say, oh, that I can afford something expensive, at the end of the day, that's not something so grand
Mhm.
at all. Anybody can get a thing. That
Exactly.
it may take some people longer. Some people can buy expensive things at the drop of a hat. Some people may have to save up for months, but at the end of the day, anyone can have a thing. You could rob for it, you could kill for it, you could for it. Excuse me, but
True. That's true.
you know, there's not really a value in a thing
Right.
until you give it value. When I know I make a purchase from a Black woman who has children, who's out doing community work, who
Yeah.
is trying to pursue a passion project, when I know that my money is being spent, and it doesn't matter the amount of money because value has nothing to do with the price.
Right.
Value, I can find the chicest, long lastingest dress in wherever if I can recognize quality, if I can recognize what's quality, if I can recognize something that's valuable, it doesn't matter. I can find that anywhere. And I think we have to go beyond what people are telling us is valuable, going beyond a price tag to just show your worth, because that's really what I feel a lot of luxury things are. It's like, oh, look at me. Because I can find that same leather, that same textile in the bottom of a barrel somewhere. But you have to be able to recognize it. It's just the same thing with eating clean. Just because it says gluten-free or whatever the hell on the box doesn't mean that there's not some trash in there. You need to be able to recognize what's healthy for you, recognize the ingredients, read the item. So once you're able to recognize quality, once you're able to recognize something that's going to have longevity, that is the value. And that's when something for me becomes luxurious. Once I know there's not just the price tag, but there's also a mission, there is passion, there's community, there's more identity to buying this thing than just, oh, that's pretty, oh, it's expensive, let me buy it. I think we need to delve a little bit deeper and make sure where we're spending these coins, make sure we're spending these coins in the right place, because that's something else that's really hurting us as a community. We're just spending, we have all the damn money, we're spending all the damn money, but we're spending it wrong.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of self-reflection that has to happen. Especially for like the Black community. Like, I mean, I don't speak for all Black people, but yes, like you're talking about something that's very, very true. And I feel like there's a lot of internal dialogue that we have to have with ourselves when we talk about like how we define luxury and like what we value. So it's just a really important, and it's also a deep subject. I feel like we have a whole other episode just on that, because that's just how deep it runs when you think about consumerism. So
it really is. Yes, girl. I'm like, put that down. Write that down.
I am, yes.
Right? Our next show.
Right. Yes. I'll definitely like put it down. So so as you were like building FATRA, like did you encounter like any roadblocks or challenges that you're willing to share with the audience?
Oh my gosh.
I felt that. I was just like, yeah, I know how you feel. Girl. I know how you feel.
The woosah. I think when you're building anything, number one, you're gonna have issues. And when you're building something that's never been seen before, you're definitely gonna have issues. When I say that I make bags from recycled plastic bottles, people are like, Really? And then I show them and they're like, oh. But initially, I think they think I'm gonna like walk up with like a Kool-Aid packet on like a strand of string and like throw it over my shoulder, and they're gonna be like, you know what I mean? So
like very arts and crafts looking kind of.
Exactly. So there's roadblocks in general, just because I think a lot of, like we were just talking about luxury, a lot of our thinking there is the shift. There is also a shift happening, but I think a lot of our thinking is in the process of shifting. And so it's a lot of explaining, especially like when I go to Italy and trying to work within some fashion spaces there. It's very traditional. It's very, like, why should we not use plastic? Why should we do this? I mean, they love the design and the idea. And I think for that market or those consumers, it's more about that. It's more about, can you just produce a beautiful quality item. You know, what it's made of really doesn't matter. But I just lost my thoughts.
Don't worry.
Yes, but Roblox for sure. Roblox are definitely very real as far as it's so much funding. You know, it's mainly been funded by me, which I pray to change this year. I've put all of my money into this project, and which is not a very smart thing to do, not a very entrepreneurial thing to do. And even recently, I'm like, I don't know how much entrepreneur I am. I think I'm just designer. I don't know about the entrepreneur part. I rather just make things. You know, I love making beautiful things, see them come to life. But dealing with the, you know, how we're gonna market it, who we're gonna show, who we gotta make it look sexy for. I'm like, look. So that's been hard in itself, just being a solopreneur, you know, trying to wear all the hats, maybe not feeling the most supported. Sometimes having to really, you know, I'm fire sign all throughout my chart, and it's very real for me, especially that I have people that are around me that support me, because you know, after a while, fire just burns out. I need someone to throw a twig on there, you know, dry leaf. Give her, you know, a yes, girl. Give her, yeah, that's cute, girl. You know, like I need constant support, which I know a lot of people always tell you, oh, believe in yourself. You have to be the one to do it yourself and all this. And that's very true, but that's also exhausting. It's exhausting as hell.
Easier said than done. Yeah. I'm
sorry.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying, you know, it's just tiring to do all of the work and also tell yourself, oh yeah, girl, you're doing a good job.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I can totally like relate to that. It's a lot. And, you know, I think like being an entrepreneur is definitely something that's overstated a little bit. A lot of people just don't understand what you go through personally, professionally, and all those things. So it's definitely a process. And that's why it's so important to be led from within and really focus on your truth, right? Just like you said, like, you know, you really just want to create, really. And that's an important thing to remind yourself of. And I feel like it's an important place to work from and grow from. So, but I totally hear you on that. So yeah, let's talk about your workshops. So given the pandemic, obviously, I'm sure that's been interrupted, but like, are you planning to do more in the future?
Yes.
Yay! Okay.
Yes, actually on the 29th, I will be taking part of something called Upcycled Palooza.
Oh.
So it's actually a week long upcycling event, and definitely I will put that on my page sometime, or maybe I will send that to you when it's ready. But yeah, on the 29th, please feel free, guys. Go ahead and add my IG, and I'll be on live on the 29th doing a small DIY. But I miss my workshop so much. Oh my God, I miss it so much. And you know what's crazy is that I literally started the workshops, or let's just say on Wednesday we men's, because every Wednesday we would all get together. I would bring snacks, you know, wine, and we literally, it was just like a healing space. I said, let every stitch be your prayer. So we just get together and share ideas on how to keep our clothes, you know, longer, little tricks, you know, oh, if you put your jeans in the freezer, it kills bacteria. You don't have to wash them as much.
Oh, I didn't know that. Really?
Yeah, girl, I'm telling you, we just full. And
wow.
Yeah, there's lots of tips and tricks, girl. I'm trying to tell you.
Gosh, okay.
We were there, you know, turning button downs into dresses and crop tops, and just a literal transformation, but also a large communal transformation, because we're all there together. Now that you've put in that work, it's like filling up your, you know how like you charge your crystal, you give it intention. Same thing with your clothing items. So people come and they get to share, you know, their photos or what they did with this item. And I just love it. I love helping people realize the value in what they already have and what they already own,
Mhm.
and the value in communal spaces. I think we get together and Netflix and chill, and at the end of it, we come out, $15 shorter, maybe knowing a plot line, storyline, but we could have spent that same amount of time together,
Mhm.
rebuilding, building, sharing tips, sharing knowledge that's going to help us further. So it's like we're there for the feel good element, but also it's very educational and it helps us become informed consumers.
Mhm.
Now we know how to fix something. A lot of times people are just throwing items away because it has a small tear, a small hole, or
Right.
it's too long, it's too big, and these are simple fixes.
Right.
So I do miss on Wednesdays we men's, but like I said, on the 29th, I'll be taking part of Upcycle Palooza. And then I do feel from there, I would like to start my workshops on every Wednesday again, because it's been really hard with the pandemic. At first I did try and do it virtually, and
Yeah.
virtual just doesn't have nothing on real life anyway, but it
Yeah.
also became very hard. People are like trying to put their whole to the screen, like, what can I do with like, I don't think this is gonna work. So I did a couple of them, but I'm ready to go back live. But I will be virtual on the 29th, and prayerfully, maybe August, we can actually pop out.
Yeah, yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. Because
Come
that's
through.
something I miss too. I miss people. I miss seeing
Oh,
people.
girl.
It's just been a lot. But no, I'm really excited to hear that you're gonna be like ramping that back up again. Because I've seen a lot of them like on your Instagram and stuff and things that you've shared.
Girl, we have
So-
a great time.
and I'll definitely try to make it as well. At least.
Come by. We just ask for a donation, which is,
Mhm.
anything. I'm not hardcore, like, at the door. What's your email? What's that? Like, oh gosh, it's just reimagine. I'm here, and I was just speaking to my friend yesterday just about how
Mhm.
much imagination is so important, and I just automatically, when I go to the fence and they're already at the door checking for me, I'm like, please, like, look,
Yeah, it'd be easy. Yeah.
like, sometimes you're just having a long day and you just want to decompress, and
Mhm.
you're not ready for all that. Like, oh, you want to show your ID. Like, if you think about it, you have to show ID to get inside places to, like, wait, what? And I
Yeah.
just want to reimagine these spaces, reimagine what it looks like to have a space that I feel comfortable and I want to attend and enjoy. And for me, that's like not people just pressed on you about the money, or pressed about, trying to add you to an email list. Like, yes, all of those things happen during on Wednesdays night we went, but it's in a time period that shows you what's really the most valuable. When I'm already paying at the door, that shows that that's what's the most valuable. You want my money.
Yep.
When you're coming to on Wednesdays, we want you to come in and put your coats down and feel good and chat it up, because that is what is most important. It's the vibe. And then towards the end, yes, if you have some coins, please do share and spend it with us, because it is, labor of love, but it's labor. Um,
Mhm.
so
And it
I
keeps
just
it
want to
genuine too. It keeps the vibe genuine as well. So I really love that.
Yeah, I just want to reimagine get-togethers, reimagine spaces that we commune, how we deal with one another as community. I want to change that a little bit, make that look a little different.
Okay, no, that's amazing. And I'm not surprised. Like, again, like again, like when I've like met you, you just have such a, you just glow like your spirit. You're just so welcoming and very, you have a really beautiful spirit and personality. So,
Thank
it's
you.
definitely, yeah, yeah, really, like, so you just attract that same type of energy. So I totally understand like where you're coming from in terms of like applying that also to your events and stuff. So I definitely think that's really, really important. So what's your vision in the future about community engagement? Because like I can only imagine this growing, to be honest with you. And I'm all about manifestation as well. So I would love to know like how you see it evolving. Do you see it growing? Obviously, whatever the new normal is in terms of the pandemic and stuff, but I'd love to know what your vision is, like overall, like I guess maybe like over the next 5 years.
Oh gosh. Well, clearly COVID has taught us,
Ooh, has it?
but don't plan too far out. Okay, look.
Yeah, that's true. See, like I'm overstepping already. See, that's so true. Okay, 2 years.
Let me tell you, COVID is like, oh, where? What you gonna do for the rest of the? Oh yeah, crossing on all of that. They crossing on all the plans. All right. I mean, geez, honestly, I'm into building sustainable living communities. That's my top one of my top destinations in this life, or one of my top journeys anyway. Now we're on the journey to get to that destination. I want to create a sustainable community. So having land and building on that land, just really making physical these figurative and theorized things we have in place. We're always like trying to build a world with less capitalism, with less patriarchy, to decolonize. And I think that we need that space literally and figuratively.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just, I'm on my Fannie Lou Hamer. Like, I want to buy hella property, and just, if you are about that, please come live amongst us. I think Black people in general need at least 100 years to themselves. And I don't mean that to themselves like, living, without white people or whatever, but I think to ourselves as in, and waking up with the intention to uplift and promote the Black community every day, whether that's shopping with, whether that's listening to supporting podcasts, whether that's banking. I think that we need 100 years of literally doing for us without the white gaze.
Yes, and the influence as well. Like it's crazy. And that reminds me, shout out to, like you mentioned Dominique earlier, shout out to her and Whitney of Sustainable BK.
Yes, those is my sisters. I love them.
Yes, just hearing you talk about that just reminded me of a lot of the work that they do. And it's just like, yeah, we need the community part is like so critical. So it's definitely something to look forward to. And I feel like so slowly it's coming together. Like, I feel like the community is definitely growing and people are starting to have like these real conversations, these real hard conversations. So it's definitely it gives me hope personally, from the like sustainability perspective and having those real conversations with ourselves. So yeah,
I hope so, because shit, it took how long? Damn it, shit. I mean, I'm honestly a little bit over it. I can't lie. I grew up with a very pro-Black family, very,
yeah,
very radical. I'm sorry, did I say my father was Haitian? Okay, Haitian.
Yeah.
First free republic in the West, Black republic. Yes, that runs through my veins. And so, to be completely honest, all of the talking to me is just exactly.
Yeah. No, I was talking about this in my last episode. It's just like I'm tired of, and it's probably contradictory to me because I have like a podcast, but it's just like I'm tired of going to all the panels. I'm tired. It's just like we can do but so much.
I want to have a podcast discussing different things, not Black all the fucking time. Sorry.
Right. No, it's true. So it's just like the doing part. And that's what I love about FATRA. It's doing and community building, which is essential. So that's really
tangible.
Yes, exactly. So when you just think, okay, like the whole topic of sustainability is definitely daunting. It's all a lot. And then you have like the race layer, and then you have the pandemic layer. Like, it's just a lot. So I'm curious to know, like, how do you personally cope as an individual with this awareness? And how do you sort of like practice self-care, and how do you take care of yourself and like navigate all of this personally in terms of like your mental health and stuff like that?
Ooh,
Hard. Because I asked myself this.
let's break that down. That was a lot of questions.
Sorry. Sorry.
Wait, run that back, okay. Yeah, so what is the main question?
Basically, how do you take care of yourself?
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I am very Aries, and we are very about the self, so I don't think there's any lacking in that area.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you straight up, Aries, we're like self-preservation over all of that. You're giving me a headache, so fuck you. That dress doesn't fit, so fuck that dress. It's very easy. It's very simple.
Okay. We're
very into self-preservation, and I personally, I can say that it's not, I have coping mechanisms that are maybe a little toxic, such as like, I just cut everything and everyone off. Like, I'll be here talking to you, we can chill every day, and then I just go ghost. I just, sometimes I feel like my energy is spread too thin. There's not enough for myself to keep doing the things that I need to be doing. Then you talk about family, and then I'm an entrepreneur. Then you're talking about, I'm always constantly traveling and or trying to make space for myself in other areas that maybe I'm not physically, so abroad, even though I'm here. So there's a lot of energy that I require, and I definitely am all about pulling back, reeling in, and staying to my damn self.
Yeah, I could totally relate to that. Go ahead, sorry.
No worries. It's just yeah. I also am a cannabis advocate. Look, I'm here for all the green.
Yeah. I second that.
Shout out Tainted Love. Tainted Love with good treats. Y'all are a very knowledgeable Black woman in the cannabis space.
What's the name again? Sorry.
Tainted Love BK.
Okay.
So definitely please follow them, check with them. She's, like I said, a very, very knowledgeable Black woman in the cannabis space, offering cannabis as medicine first.
Okay.
And so it's a huge shift when you have someone who actually respects the plant and respects all the parts of it and what it can do. So I appreciate shopping with her, and she's definitely such a motivator in my life for sure. So definitely check that out, y'all. Tainted Love BK, woo woo.
Yes, I'll definitely check her out.
Yeah, so I just stay by myself, smoke weed, and make bags. Like what? It
be like that. Like once you're in your zone, like when you're in flow, that's everything.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all I need. And my last collection was actually named from different parts of the world, and either that I have traveled or wish that I was traveling because we were stuck in quarantine. However, I'm releasing a new collection. So freaking stoked. It's called Shit Is Getting Wild.
I love it.
And it's what was that?
I was like, what?
Yes. It's called Shit Is Getting Wild, and it's a lot of animal print and a lot of floral. Because shit is wild, and that's just really what drew me to that. So stay tuned for that as well. Prayerfully, I can drop that by next week.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna ask you. I was like, when can we expect it?
Yeah, I honestly want to say by the 23rd or Thursday of next week that I'm gonna make that drop.
Yay!
So
okay.
Soon, HiFatra.com, HIFATRA.com. Like little self promotion.
No, of course. Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. So like in terms of resources, which is what again, I'm loving how this is flowing, honestly. So so now we know about Tainted Love. So are there any other resources that at least that you're comfortable with sharing with the audience that you've utilized as an entrepreneur or someone in the sustainability space, or are there any other resources that you feel the audience should know about that
man, there's so many. I wish I could put everybody on right now. Okay,
But yeah, like any ones that you have off the top of your head, like, yeah, shout them out because it's important.
It is very important. And I'm definitely all about that too. I'm like, I'm climbing in the window so I can open the door for everybody.
Yep.
Well, of course, you guys already know the Sustainable BK crew and their initiative, everything they're doing to give back to the community, which is amazing.
Yes.
I would definitely have to say Custom Collaborative doing revolutionary work, working with immigrant women.
Ngozi, yes, she's amazing.
Yes, the training program, absolutely phenomenal. Such a great business model, and it's really the model of the future. If your business is not talking about care and compassion in some way that's showing up in, whether it's your labor force or whether it's who you're getting your resources from, you have to have a company of compassion, or I don't know how far it's gonna go,
Right.
Let's
shout
see.
out to her. She was a guest on the show last year, so she's amazing.
Yes,
Like,
Ngozi. Dan and Ngozi, she is such a boss, and I love it.
And she's so sweet too. Like, ugh.
It is, but that's what I mean. Yet again,
Yeah.
soft and strong, baby.
Yeah.
We are the spider web. You heard? It is
we're amazing,
soft, but it is strong.
Black women are amazing.
We really are, though. Like, can we just take a moment for Black women? Just
yes, like a nice breath. Like, we endure a lot, but we still rise. Like we're still here and we're still doing things, and it makes me so proud. And I think that's why it's so important to uplift each other. Hold each other accountable, but really uplift each other. And like you were saying, like being a support system for other Black women, like critical.
Critical.
Yeah.
Let's see, who else? I have so many right now. I'm like, I would also have to say the narrative. The narrative is a shop in BK.
Oh, I've heard of them. Okay.
Yes, definitely check them out. Definitely, that whole area is just full of amazingness right there.
Part of BK, like in Bed-Stuy or?
Yeah, Bed-Stuy.
Okay. Oh, I'm from Bed-Stuy. Okay.
Oh, girl.
Yeah. Yeah, born and raised. Native Brooklynite. Have you heard of Bias in Leon?
No, I have not. Look, let me write that down.
Yeah, so they were also on the show last year as well. Two gentlemen. They have a vintage shop right in Bed-Stuy. So definitely check them out as well.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty awesome. They are also Haitian as well, so they have a lot of Haitian roots.
Oh yes, my Haitian is Naika. We actually just did a collaboration last month with her Nina Simone bodysuits came with every bag.
Yay!
Destination Swimwear. Check those beautiful swimsuits out by another amazing Black woman. I hope to work with her very shortly. We're gonna have bikinis and bags.
Oh, yay! I love collaborations. That's another important thing too.
I'm trying to collaborate with someone in the sustainable space every month, and that doesn't matter what your product is. Let's try and get together and work. So please hit me up if you're just a sustainable designer of any kind, or having any type of products that you think we can work together. Definitely reach out. I would like to collaborate with one every month, like I said. But yes, Naika she designs sustainable clothing. Her last collection was made completely of, I think, lyocell, which is compostable.
Oh, yes. Okay.
So definitely look her up as well. Jeez.
Right?
Girl, there's really so many. My girlfriend Sky, who makes beautiful handmade gloves from scrap materials. Her business is called Dynasty NYC.
Okay, I'm looking it up now.
Gosh, there really is. We're out here. We really are.
Yeah. Like that is it's really, really important. And then after we record and everything, definitely just let me know if any additional ones come off the top of your head, and I'll make sure
Oh my gosh, Lula, Ibada Wadu, she's also an amazing professor, but she has a brand called Lula, Better Handbags made in Brooklyn. And they're made by women that were formerly incarcerated.
Heard of this? Okay, yeah, I think yeah.
Lula, amazing. It's amazing. Ibada is also a very amazing woman. I love her.
Aww.
But I would say we to look up sisters in sustainability, and that's the space of a lot of Black women who are within the sustainability space, leading, doing their thing, and yeah, we're all there. So, oh my gosh, Devon of Positive Obsession.
I've heard of it.
Amazing stylist. She did like the one dress for 30 days. She did 30 different looks with one dress.
Really? See, that's how, things like that are important. We need to know how to utilize things as well. So
yeah. That was a very important project that she did. I know I see a lot of people doing like the 3-day, this, that, but she did 30 days, one dress, 30 days. So I think, yeah, just your style IQ overall can definitely help, but it's the imagination, it's the creativity that goes into imagination. I go to a lot of these sustainable panels and, there's women on the stage and like, I just don't know. It's like,
I know.
Imagine, like, use your brain, for the people who are like, them always exist. So what can we do? It's like, reimagine something new. Like, come on, don't be basic.
Yes.
Ay. But I think that we haven't had a chance to really exercise and play a lot in that area because there's no time to imagine when you're always, you're trying to survive. And I get that and I understand that. But it's a very important space to have your creativity run wild because we're only living in another man's fucked up imagination.
Yep.
The forefathers, they got together and said, yo, this is what it's going to be. They're going to be 1/3 humans. It's going to be this. They can't vote. They can't do this. They're going to do this. We don't need women, blah, blah, blah. And they made that shit crack. And we need that same group. We need that same type of energy to get together and be like, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're not going to accept this. We're going to accept this as a collective and stand by it and ride by that and really create some new shit. Like all of this, I don't know, is dead. Like in the time of information, the shit is dead. Reimagine something new. Like, let's go. What are we doing?
Yeah, it's funny you brought that up. Like, I know for me, like I started like an LLC and all that there's a project I would like to work on more likely in 2021, but it's basically applying sustainability to creativity in different ways because like you're saying, it's definitely just that lack of imagination that I think is lacking right now. Everyone's trying to be, super scientific and super informed, which is fine, but it's just like, we can still be very creative and like very forward thinking. And I just feel like a lot of that has to do with just the lack of applying the arts to sustainability as well. So that's something I'm personally working on. But it's a really important thing that you brought up. So it's an important area.
Yeah, creativity is a superpower. I think, a lot of times when I was working, that's kind of my strong point. I'm like, I'm a creative and they're like, oh, great, but this isn't a job with arts and crafts. But creativity applies a different perspective to something that you may have been struggling with for so long. So it's not just about being able to perform the arts. Creativity is coming at an issue and giving it a solution from a very different space, a space that may not be traditional, a space that's not as maybe limited, but thinking outside of the problem and bringing in different elements to solve it. So if you are creative, and if you don't think that you are creative, creativity is not solely coming out with a product and just for aesthetics. Creativity is, in fact, the way that we problem solve. It's a solution oriented tool.
Yeah.
So don't downplay creativity. Get into it. It's the future.
Yes, it sure is. So in the spirit of conscious consumerism, is there like a particular item or clothing that you cherish?
Everything and anything from my grandmother, from
Aw.
both grandmothers. I
Aw.
look at my grandmothers like fucking superheroes. You know, they both came here to this country, one without language
Mm.
and one without, a decent support system, and brought their whole families over and made that transition. I think for a lot of us, we just are like, oh, we just want to go on a, international vacay. That might be our goal. Or we just want to, learn another language. But imagine just being thrown into another world that you're not culturally familiar with, that
Mhm.
you may not even speak the same language, and fucking thriving. I love my grandmothers. My grandmothers, I
Mm.
stand on their backs every day.
Mm.
Every day I say, thank God. Thank God that I had two strong women. And
Mhm.
that's the thing from both sides. It was the women that initiated coming over. It's the women that initiated, buying property. Like, I'm
Yeah.
still trying to buy property now.
Yeah.
That shit without language, without like,
Mhm.
what? Who were these women? Where did they come from?
There's so much like yeah, I couldn't. It's like you have to think backwards in terms of like your legacy and like people who came before you and like really established your foundation. It's just really really important to look back. But that's like so sweet.
Yeah, so I have, some jewelry items from my grandmother. I have some dresses. Um, and every time I put them on, I just feel like a bad bitch.
Aw. Important for like
Because
that.
the value, you see, the
Definitely.
value is not that, oh, it costs this, it costs that. It's the actual value of that thing. That thing cannot be replaced. I don't care that, oh, it's not in style, it's not in trend, it's not blah, 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 because it has a value.
Right, right. And it's important to like really consider that when we're buying stuff. And uh, it's just, I don't know. I just feel like when we just the term value is something that definitely is currently shifting. So, but I just feel like a lot of people just still don't get it. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what types of shifts take place, especially like after like now, given the pandemic. Hopefully, a lot of people are really thinking about what they're valuing and like where they're putting their values and rethinking a lot of things given like this whole pause. So yeah. Um, so tell us something about yourself that people wouldn't know already. And this could be like funny, silly, or serious.
They wouldn't know that I actually majored in biology.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that I I'm a science geek. I geek out, I nerd out. I love biology. I love
Is it a specific kind of biology? Because I know there are different types, like
I
environmental.
love biochemistry.
Okay.
Um Specifically, which brings me back to my love of food and diet. Um
Mhm.
but I love how different things react with each other. Like, in the lab, I'm here for that. I'm actually working on a dope ass project right now with SIDI, and
Okay.
looking for new biomaterial to make things out of.
Mm, okay.
So yeah, I don't think people think that I'm a nerdy, but I live for the bio everything.
Oh
Give
my
it,
gosh.
give me all the science. Give me all the science. Biochem. I'm just here for it.
No, science is definitely important. I've been like looking at a lot of that stuff as well, like biomaterials and stuff. It's really, really
What?
interesting.
Bill Nye the Science Guy? Marry me, why don't you? Please.
Yes.
Me. I'm
That's a
here.
Bill Nye. Is he still alive? He's alive, right?
So, girl, Bill.
Uh,
Bill. Y'all can't say his name like me. I love
man.
science. I'm a nerd at heart. I went to a high school for biology, a specialized high school, which had me graduate a lot sooner than anticipated. I
Oh,
went to college under a biology major, though I never finished because college was some bullshit. What?
yeah, like
But yeah, shouts out if you do it, you make it. But I just was like, I'm here for the science, and they're like, but you have to take. I'm like, but I'm here for the science.
right. like, just give me this. Like, that's what I'm here for.
Girl, I made up my whole schedule. It was like, but you can't have lab without this. And I'm like, but then they're like, what track are you on? Because here you have like, you know, a bio class, and then here you have like a woman's study. I'm like, I thought we were here to learn about what we wanted to learn about. Like, I'm in college. Isn't this where the exploration of knowledge happens? Isn't this where you find out, you know, maybe if I want to merge two fields together, isn't this where discovery happens? No. I thought I was gonna going into university, I thought that I was gonna go into an experimental place where you're allowed to try and fail and discover and learn and, you know,
very structured, like
be structured. Yeah, like, you know, maybe I wanted to bring, which why is another reason why I love sustainable fashion, is because I get to bring the science, the creative element, along with like the practical element, you know, like the architecture, the building, you know, thinking of end of life, what else you can do. It's definitely my science brain that appreciates a lot of the sustainable fashion movement, like, you know, different materials, how that breaks down, how long that lasts, how it's made, how it's created. It's definitely on my science brain. But yeah, I thought university was just going to be a world of wonder, and I got there and they told me that I had to take what they wanted me to take because I was on a specific thing and I had to only learn this. It's like, so I didn't come out, you know, I learned way more, and I put this on job applications when I applied. Like, yeah, I mean, I did the university thing. However, I learned more while traveling. Like, I've learned so much more traveling, being in real life. Like, yeah, in school they can tell you how business is gonna go, but have you ever tried doing business in Japan without a language, without a representative? Have you ever tried to, you know, build that bridge from there to Korea and I've had an opportunity to do all those things on my fucking own because I my street smarts and I use the bit of academic accolades that I have, but it's really, you really could do whatever. It's just really up to you, honestly. And don't, you know, put anything on a pedestal. I know they're saying don't put celebrities on the pedestal, but don't even put university. Don't put, oh, I come from here, I can't do this. You just really have to find the way. With the internet, it has made a way to cut out a lot of third parties. So really research, find your way, love it, be passionate about it, fucking eat, breathe, sleep, shit it. And you're going to find where you belong. You're going to find a way to do the thing. I believe in people. I believe in community. I think we are so resilient and we're so resourceful. So, you know, just keep on. Just keep on. Don't let anything stop you. If you can do it, do it. You know, if you're about the degree, get that shit and wing it and be the baddest bitch with a degree. And if you can't, be the baddest bitch without one.
Yeah.
That's still valuable. You're still valuable. Don't worry.
Oh my gosh. Well, that is definitely the FATRA gospel, like we were talking about earlier. You guys heard it here. You have heard the gospel, but no, that's so true. And I think that's probably a great way to close out. But oh my God. First of all, I just want to say thank you again, Akilah, for spending your time with me today. And I'm just so excited for not only you being here, but all of the people who will discover FATRA if they haven't already, and all of the wonderful gems that you've dropped on the show today. It's just really, really important to just to be encouraged. Having conversations like this do encourage me as well. So I definitely just want to say I really appreciate you spending time with me today.
Yes.
And,
beautiful.
So go ahead, sorry.
Oh, no worries.
No, I was just gonna say, like, yeah, just remind everyone about your website, your Instagram, and any other like businesses that you can think of now, because I know like you went on the blank earlier, but yeah, let them know how they can find you, reach you, your email, things to look out for, and yeah, share more of the gospel.
Yes, hallelujah.
Hey God.
Look, the religious people, they gonna kill me.
Yeah, my mom's gonna kill me if she listens to
it. We love you, Mom. We love you. Love Jesus. All that. You can find my designs at HI, so it's hi as in like hello, like hi. FATRA, FATRA. HiFatra.com, and also on IG you can see all of the nice photos and all of that. Then my amazing shout out to my brother. Hold on, like wait a minute. Stop the record right now. Shout out to my brother, who also is an amazing, inspiring, creative. He's very dope. If you guys are looking for creative content, if you guys are looking for anyone to photograph you, definitely check him out. He has also a clothing line called Overlook.
Nice.
If you're into, you know, just Black boy joy, just colorful, swaggy, swaggadociousness, check out Overlook Clothing. He's on IG as over_3_ and he's online at Overlook Clothing. But definitely shout out to my brother who got my IG page all together, because I was just putting anything and everything up there. I'm like, oh, what? It's all relevant. He's like, yeah, no.
What's your brother's name?
Yeah, okay. I'm like, what? I want to show my dad with my acai bowl. He's like, yeah, but no. Like, big shout out to brother for keeping me in line and keeping the brand real tight and beautiful. Yet again, support. When you have support in the right places, you can go far.
Yes.
And those people that don't support you, just don't lean energy into that. You know, I have some very close people that I feel like could do something, but we ain't gonna go there.
No, tell me about that's real though. That's real. So yeah, this is it, Akilah. Thank you so much again. So again, I'm really happy that everyone will, at least people will listen. As Sassy Soul grows, more and more people will learn about FATRA. And yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in, and we will see you soon. Bye.
Thank you guys. Ciao.